You know, unless you're the size of my little friend right here, a very small design really isn't going to make a big impact unless you repeat it. So let's talk about doing that today on the Baby Lock Vesta. Let's take a little design and really make a big impact with it. I'm Cathy, and this is Sewing Tech Talk. So tell me, did Skipper ever find your other shoe? So we have a giveaway for today's video. It's a great pack of embroidery thread. So every time you like, share, or comment, go ahead, do that, and every time you do, you're entered for a chance to win a set of thread. So good luck. So now there's small designs. So here's a little baby quilt I made, and there's a small design, and it's about a 4x4 design, and because it's in this quilt block, it gives it a little bit more impact. Small designs, there's a ton of them out there. But I'm talking about little itty bitty designs. Let's talk about some small designs. Now, small designs are usually designed to be like a complement to maybe a design pack. We're going to find some on the Baby Lock Vesta here in a little bit. Some of them are for embellishing buttonholes. Some are for embellishing the large built-in letters in the machine. And you can use them singly and individually. They're meant to be small because when you need a small design, a big one is not going to work. If you're going to put something on a cuff or on a collar, or you just need a little accent to something, then you absolutely need a small design. But there are some features in the machine where we can take that small design and we can multiply it and get the pretty big impact. So these little flowers, well, we're going to find them on the machine here in a little bit, but these are all individual flowers. Now here's the built-in exclusive script that's on the Baby Lock Vesta. It's really beautiful. So I made this little pillow, a little holiday themed pillow. I did some embroideries around the outside edge. Let's talk about how we can do a repeat and not have to spend all day embroidering it. So let's go to the screen of the machine and let's see what we can do there. So now, here's the screen of the machine. Where are these little designs hidden? Well, there's a whole bunch of designs in exclusives. And over here, you can see that there's a buttonhole. So let's touch that. And there's a whole bunch of designs here, some buttonholes. But over here, this is called Buttonhole Embellishments. And these are smallish designs. So if you select a design, you can see that that's pretty small. And it gives you the dimensions right up here. That's pretty little. Let's look and see if there's anything else that's kind of tiny. Well, this one's a little bit bigger. This one's not too bad. And you can, of course, change the size of them a little bit in the machine. But let's go back and see where else we have some other small designs. Now, here's some of the built-in very large letters in the Baby Lock Vesta. These have some pretty big letters. So if I come in here, you can see if I touch that letter, that's a pretty good size. That's 5 1/4 inches wide and over 5 inches tall. That's pretty cool. But if I go to the left, I can find that there are some little teeny tiny itty bitty accents. That's pretty cool. So let's go to this other set. And if I go backwards, whoops, here we go. Pick that. Go backwards. There's some really cute little accents to add on to all these letters. So you can make a big statement with small letters and with big letters and add some little accents. So let's play with this one just a little teeny tiny bit. I'm going to hit set. Now that's a really small little design. Now, if I want to make that design and repeat it, I can go back and find that design all kinds of different places in the machine. But I kind of like to have pretty instant access to it. So I take that design and I put it into the memory of the machine. But wait, weren't there other designs there that were kind of cool? Let's add another one. Let's come here and here. And let's go back, and here's this one as well. So that's an awesome little design also. So when I hit set, I have 2 little designs here, and they're pretty similar colors. Now if I want to change them, I can do that. I can come in here, and that first color is whatever that green is. If I hit plus, I can change that Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got a little trick up my sleeve that you're going to see. I'm going to repeat these all over my embroidery field, but I want the colors to be the same. So I'm going to come and I'm going to find a part of my little color chips here, and let's just say this one is the purple I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to touch that. It happens to already be that color. But when I go to the next color, I don't want yellow, I want that one. These may not be the colors that I'm going to stitch it out of, but the reason I chose those is because I can find those color chips pretty easy because I know they're right on the top of that. So let's make sure that all these colors are a color that I know that I'm going to want to play with. So I've used that one, let's just use this one down here. Okay, now, let's choose this other little design, and let's make those colors pretty similar. That first one, pretty good. This one, oh, that's a different blue, but I know where I have my hidden color chip. Let's make that one that color. And go to the next color, and let's go with this color. And I know I used those in that other design. Is there any others? Nope, I think that's it for those. Now here are my two little designs. I'm going to repeat them all over my embroidery field. So what I'm going to do is, I've changed the color. I'm going to put them into the memory of the machine. So I know I have them set at that color and I have instant access to them whenever I want them. Now, let's do something else. Let's make a really pretty script, just like I did with the Believe. Let's do something for maybe another season. So I'm going to go home. Yes, I'm going to delete those because I've already put them in the memory. Now, there's one thing on the Baby Lock Vesta I really like. Whoops, that's not where I want it to be. I want it to be in the letters. It has the Baby Lock exclusive script, which is just a stunning alphabet. I think you'll agree that is pretty gorgeous, and it automatically connects up. So, let's do Welcome Spring. So I have my uppercase right here. Here's W. My lowercase is over here. E, L. Whoops. It knows that these letters are gigantic. So it's asking me if it's okay to turn them sideways. Well, of course it is. Now, something that's good to know, you have the exclusive script in the large size, but you also have a medium and a small. So you could do all kinds of really cool lettering with this. Let's add finish our welcome. C-O-M-E. There's my welcome. Now I could add another line, but let's just see what this one looks like here. There's my welcome. Now my friends, that is huge. That is almost 9 inches by almost 3 inches. And what I can do is I can take it, move it up to the upper right hand corner, move it up there like that. Okay, now let's add Welcome Spring. So we're going to go add here. There's my exclusive script. I need that S for spring. S P R I N. Whoops, see, it needed to turn it again. I N. Now, I would have not remembered where I was, but it's going to show me right up here. I need to add that G. So there's my spring. Set. Now it's on top of it, but I'm going to move it on down and move it exactly where I think I want it to be. Now, if that's hard to see, I can come up and I can go a little bit closer and see that I might want to move that over just a little bit. I have move keys to show me that I can move it up just like that and get it exactly where I want it to be. I can touch this button right here and I can magnify it if I want to get really close to see exactly where that is. Okay, I think I'm good. Now there's one thing that I wanted you to notice. It is not in the middle of the hoop. Well, here's another little trick. When I go to edit end, it takes that whole design and it puts it getting ready to embroider, and I can touch this button here. It puts it in the middle. Now, it put everything in the middle. I'm going to come on back, and it stays in the middle. Now, let's add some of those little flowers and make something really cool. I'm going to hit Add, and I put them in the memory of the machine, and you can see I've been playing just a little bit. They're all the way over here because I have tons of different little memories that I can use. I touch them and I hit set. Well, that's not where I want them to end. Here's a cool little trick. Now, if I touch this little flower, I might pick the welcome, I might pick the spring. It has a little red box on it, so when I touch move, I'm going to move just it. I'm going to make a little floral arrangement for the W. Let's bring that on up there. Remember, little designs like this, they're not the main player generally. It's kind of like you're making a little flower arrangement, and these are the fillers. Okay, now, if I touch this, I might get it, but I might also get the spring, or I might also get the welcome. So if I keep touching select, it's going to put a little box around that, and when I touch move, I can put it exactly where I want and add everything on in. And I can make a really pretty arrangement. Now, what's spring without a whole bunch of flowers? When I touch add, I can go to the memory of the machine and find those flowers that I've already put a different color onto. I know they're all going to match. When I hit set, I can just come in and add a whole bunch of different flowers exactly where I want. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you know, I've probably been playing, so let's go back. And let's look at our strategy for doing this so that we're not changing thread colors every single time. So I'm going to bring that in. Here's the welcome spring I worked for before. I'm going to hit set. So there's my welcome spring. Now I went ahead and I brought a whole bunch of flowers in. Let's touch add and let's find those in the memory of the machine. One thing that I want you to notice is that when I saved them both with the welcome spring and I saved them with just the flowers. Because here's the cool trick. When I want to stitch this, I don't know if you've noticed, but each of these flowers, they have 2 or 3 different colors. And if I do them and embroider them all individually, well, I'm going to be changing thread, let's see how many times. I'm going to be changing thread 26 different times. I don't know about you, but spring might be over by the time I get that all done. So there's my two different colors for my welcome spring, and each flower is going to be stitching in 3 different colors, my friends. So let's go back and I want to show you a magic button. This is color sort, and what that means is if there are 2 colors that are all the same, then it's going to stitch all those at the same time. There's one thing to remember though. As long as any of these little red boxes, that's the selection tool for any of these embroideries, overlaps any other red box, well, then it's not going to work. So what's a girl going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I saved my welcome spring separately. So let's go back and I'm going to use that same select tool. I'm going to get rid of that welcome, delete. Remember, I already have it saved. I'm going to get rid of that spring. I'm going to delete it and I'm okay. Now there's all my little flowers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch out my welcome spring, and then as a separate embroidery, without taking it out of the hoop, I'm going to come on in and stitch all my flowers on the top. But still, what's going to happen is if I go ahead and send this off to embroidery, I still have 24 colors. Green, light purple, dark purple. I don't want to do that. I have color sort. So when I touch color sort and I go to embroidery, just like magic, the machine's going to do all the green, all the dark purple, all the light purple. Now you can see why I changed all the colors to know that everything matches. So that sounds pretty good. I'm going to come on back and I'm going to do my welcome spring. Let's go back here. Let's bring that back up from the memory because it's a good thing I saved it. There's welcome spring. I'm going to hit set. I know everything's where I want it to be. Edit end, embroidery. Now all I have to do is stitch my welcome spring, not take it out of the hoop, and I'm going to put on my flowers next. So I think that you can see that by taking a design, separating it out, and then doing it separately, the memory in the machine is the key. And color sort, Well, Color Sort's going to take this exclusive script, which is already beautiful, and really make it bloom for spring. So I think I have my green in the machine already. I'm going to stitch out my Welcome Spring, and then we'll come back. We'll put those flowers on the top, and I think you'll see that I can take a little design and get a really big impact. So we're just finishing up, and I think Welcome Spring turned out pretty spectacular. Let me show it to you before we add the flowers. So here it is, and I think you'll agree that is a pretty spectacular built-in font. That's what it's called, it's font. So remember, I didn't have to fuss and put all these together. Everything just automatically joined up together. That's the beauty of the Baby Lock exclusive script. It's really a beautiful built-in font. But now let's add that little bit of flair to this, and let's add all of those flowers. So remember, what I did is I brought this in, I added the flowers to it, and then I had them separately in the memory. So now let's go in and pull that memory back up, and we can use Color Sort to make sure we're not changing the thread. What was it, 24 times? So yes, I'm finished embroidering. And I don't need this anymore because I've done it, and it's in the memory. So I'm going to come back home. Okay. I'm going to pull up the memory in the machine and go to, I believe it is this one right here. There we go. Now when I hit set, that's going to bring it all up. Now you don't see the Welcome Spring because remember, that's already been stitched, and I know these flowers are perfectly placed because I did that before I deleted the Welcome Spring before. So I don't need to edit it. I've already done that. And let's just see what that looks like without doing Color Sort. When I come into embroidery, I have all these different colors, 24 different color changes within 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, I'm not going there. So I'm going to come back, touch my magic Color Sort key, go to embroidery, and I still have 24 colors, but it's going to do all the green, all the next color, all the next color, and all the next color. So what I chose is after I stitched my Welcome Spring, I could see that I used some pretty aggressive little greens for that. So instead of going with those pale purples, I'm going to use some a little bit more springy, a little bit brighter colors. So my first color, oh I know, oops, my first color is this light green, which fortunately the embroidery thread doesn't break. Let's take this and put this on in the machine. Put my spool cap on. I'm using the larger spool cap because I have straight wound thread spools, which you can tell they look like a traditional spool of thread. It likes to come up and out when it's on the embroidery machine, so I'm using the larger spool cap that comes with the Baby Lock Vesta. There's this little hook on the bottom down here. Lay it in the slot, clip the thread, push the handle, put that down. Now the machine's going to do all the greens, then all the pinks, all the purples, all the different colors that I've chosen. The other advantage of Color Sort is I don't have to remember this color, this color, this color. Everything's going to come out just fine. So it's going to take a few minutes to get these flowers done, not too long. And when we come back, what I want to show you is how I can do a fancy little design using little flowers by little design to make something even more spectacular with a pretty cool shape. You're going to want to see this trick. So let me get my flowers done and I'll be right back. So I finished stitching Welcome Spring, and remember, I saved Welcome Spring the lettering so I can come back in and add a bunch more flowers if I want to. So I can add a whole bunch and I could really make my spring bloom. I wanted to show you though how I have the circle around the believe. Now I left some gaps because I'm going to add some little teeny tiny red jingle bells in there, but I wanted to show you how I got this oval. I have another trick up my sleeve. What if you wanted to do a design, bringing all your little designs in and have them follow a shape? Well, what we have in the Baby Lock Vesta is a tab called Shapes, and you use that for doing like quilt labels, something like that. But I'm going to use it to help me place these little designs. Let's go to the screen in the machine and I'm going to show you this other little trick. And then don't forget, you always have a handout. So all these little tricks I'm going to list in the handout, so you don't have to remember everything. Go get your handout. It's usually in the description below. It's highlighted in blue, and I talk about where all the little designs are on the Vesta, and the little tricks I have for using color sort, and how we separated these, we divided and conquered these embroidery designs so that we could use that. So let's go to the screen of the machine. So here we are at the screen of the machine, and I wanted to show you a cool little trick. So when I say okay, I have this in the memory, so I don't need it anymore. Okay. Now, let's do a heart. Here's the Shapes tab, and when I go to the Shapes tab, I can choose any one of these different shapes. I'm going to choose the heart, and I have different ways to stitch it. Now, I'm not really going to stitch this. I just want the shape of it. So I'm just going to pick the selection, which is a single run of stitching, and I'm going to touch set. Now, I have this heart. I want to make it a little bit bigger. I want to touch size, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. That's a lot bigger, actually, and I want to say okay. Now, let's use those same designs we did before. I'm going to touch add, the memory of the machine, and I'm going to choose my little flowers right here, and I'm going to touch set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little flowers and I'm going to put them along this outside, oops, remember I have to use select, so let's move that back into position. I accidentally moved it. Okay, now let me use select just to get one of those little flowers. Ooh, that was a close one. So I'm going to touch move, and I'm going to move it along that outside edge of that heart. Remember, I'm not going to stitch the heart, I'm just using it to help me place my designs. So okay, let's select the next little design. Let's touch move, and let's keep moving it exactly where we want it to be, right along that outside edge of the design. Now remember, if I'm going to use color sort on these can't touch. So let's add a couple more. Let's go add, find those extra little ones. Remember, I have them here, so they're easy for me to access. I'm going to move that one down as well. And I can put these in any order that I want. Whoops. Let's go to this little guy here. I want the guy in the middle. Keep touching select till you get him. Touch move. I'm going to put him down there. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to make sure that they don't touch each other. In other words, more importantly, the little red boxes don't touch each other. So if I do that, I know I'm going to be able to use my color sort function. So I have them here. I can go and move them exactly where I want them to be. I don't have them touching yet because I want to show you a trick. So let's put this into the memory of the machine. Pretend I have everything done. Through the magic of television, I don't, but let's pretend everything is all done in there. Okay, now I don't want that heart anymore. So I'm going to go till I'm selecting that heart. I'm going to delete the heart, and it doesn't look like I'm doing a heart right now, does it? Let's go ahead and I would stitch out all of that, but I would have the flowers in the shape of the heart. Great. So when I go to edit end, I go color sort, I go to embroidery, all those little colors are going to be sorted for me. Awesome. Remember, if these were touching, it wouldn't do that because it knows it's not going to color sort when it has overlapping, because it doesn't know. So now, what I can do is I'm going to stitch all this out, pretend I have my whole heart, but if I want something in between here to fill it on up, what I'm going to do is pick one at a time, and then I'm just going to move it down to fill that gap. I'm going to move it down to fill the gap. I could bring that heart back if I wanted to. And now let's go to the next one, select it, let's move it down to fill the gap. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm kind of filling in these little areas that I had before, and what it's going to do, it's going to change everything so that it is in a different spot, but it's going to fill that gap in. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, hopefully the handout will get you all taken care of. Now when I have that, it's going to be, those flowers are going to be filling in the gaps between everything else. Let's see if I did that on something else. Okay, let's come in and see if I filled in my little heart here. So here's my little heart that I did before. There's my one little guy. Here's my believe without the believe. There it on is. When I hit set, it's going to bring it on up. So I stitched all my little poinsettias. I actually used a metallic Floriani thread to give them a little bit of bling. When I came back, I picked each one of these individual little poinsettias up, selected it, and then I moved it on up to fill in from here. I moved it up there to fill in that spot. So you can use different layers of the machine, if you put your embroideries into different layers, you can bring them in, you can use that color sort feature, and you can keep going. I could have filled this whole area up with little flowers if I wanted to, and I'm not changing thread a million times. So I hope you believe that you can do some pretty amazing stuff with small designs. I'm going to send it over to George. Thank you for watching me today, and I hope you're inspired to take something little and make a big deal out of it. Take it away, George.
Thanks, Cathy. Once again, that was a great presentation. Don't forget to click on the link to download Cathy's guide on that incredible project. Now, every once in a while, a machine's introduced to the industry that really offers high performance at a great value, and that's the Baby Lock Vesta. Not only is it a great sewing and quilting machine, but it also is an incredible embroidery machine. The embroidery features include a hoop that's larger than 10 by 6, and it has a wonderful color touchscreen. And look at this beautiful embroidery. Plus it removes the jump stitches, and it even has a special software program that sends your design via Wi-Fi right to the machine. Now, that's not all though. For a sewing machine, it has the automatic fabric sensor that senses fabric from heavy denim to sheer fabric to working with elastic or even a ribbing on a collar like a t-shirt knit. But quilting features, it actually will sew in different directions. We have some designs that are incredible for going down the sashing border. It has an automatic 1/4 inch so you can do your piecing, plus all kinds of wonderful decorative stitches. So as you see, this is an incredible sewing, quilting, and embroidery machine. Now, we have a very special buy on this machine. This machine has a manufacturer suggested list price of $59.99. But right now, it's on sale for $39.99, and we're including free shipping across the country, as well as interest-free financing is available. I want to make a very special offer for those who are watching Sewing Tech Talk with Cathy, and that is with a mystery bonus. Why is it a mystery bonus? Well, I don't have a lot of them, but I want to make sure those who are contacting me, all you have to do is mention Cathy, our Sewing Tech Talk with Cathy, and I have this bonus value that is incredible. So give us a call at 1-800-865-9664 and discover how easy it is to get an incredible sewing, quilting, and embroidery machine. Bye for now.